Hello everyone, it's just your friendly neighborhood horror writer, Tia. So let us begin with the 5 things you may not know about me. Hopefully it'll be kind of interesting. I don't know. I have no tattoos. I know it's kind of weird being in the goth scene and the rock scene and that kind of thing, but I've really never gotten around to getting a tattoo. I have a very strong fear of commitment in life and in tattoos. So I have all these ideas and I have these tattoos I really wanted to get, but I know who I was 20 years ago and who I am now are very different things. And what I would have put on my body back then is something that I'd probably regret now. But granted, I am turning 40 in July, and I think that's what I'm going to end up giving myself as a birthday present. Now, I have no problem with piercings. I've had quite a lot pierced on me. Actually, not really on my ears, but pretty much everywhere else I've had a piercing at one time or another. I've also done a hook suspension. Cue the picture. So it's not so much this piercing or the pain or blood or anything like that, because I don't really give a shit about any of that. It's just having something that permanently represents me in this time, in this moment. Now, since I'm getting older and I'm getting age spots, I think it's a good time to start putting some tattoos in some strategic places. Wasps and bees. They tend to like me a lot. And I mean a lot. And maybe it has something to do with my hair, because the color maybe attracts them or whatever. My mom is absolutely terrified. She's actually jumped out of a car with me in the car as a child to get away from bees and wasps. She did that to my grandmother too. But wasps and bees, I used to be kind of terrified of them because of my mom's phobia. And so many other people have phobias. And I'm the type of person that if I have a phobia, I definitely take steps to get over that phobia. I used to have a phobia of spiders too. And around our house, especially in the South, you get a lot of wasps. And I'm talking the big fuckers like this. And they kind of mosey around our house and they tend to eat pesky things. And I don't mind them around because they don't seem to bother me. And I will be at events, especially camping or things like that, and I will just have them hang out with me. People have seen it. They think it's weird. Some people think that wasps and bees are kind of my totem, and I take that as a compliment. Cue the picture. That bee stayed on me for quite a while, would not leave me alone, and just rode on me for, I want to say, an hour, and people were terrified. Bumblebees don't bite, but people are terrified of them anyway. But that sucker just landed on me, and I ended up having to trick it to get it off of me, and I really felt bad. I felt like it was like a sad puppy. I have a hard time hearing on a phone. I kind of have a phobia of talking on a phone, but I think a lot of it has come from the fact that I can't really hear on a phone. I have hearing at the bottom and at the top, but in mid-range where the phone voices are, I can't really understand them, and I have a hard time understanding people in public places. And so I have that mid-range that's kind of fucked up in my ears. So I really don't like talking on the phone. I'm a text girl, email girl. Well, the story of how this mid-range damage happened is probably more interesting. When I was in middle school, I had a bully that squealed in both my ears. Would run up to me at the bus and at the stop, and he would just do this high pitch squeal, like a child's toddler squeal, literally an inch from my ear. This ear is actually more damaged than this ear. And they would go up and squeal really high in my ear. And that would also be the first time I punched somebody. I laid them out flat, and it was the only way I could get them to stop, because I was begging them to stop and they wouldn't stop, and he came up and squealed in my ear again, and I felt so bad about hitting him. And, you know, I was a victim a lot in my childhood of bullies, physical, mental, you name it. My school life was absolute fucking hell. And that was the first time that I actually physically defended myself. Luckily, it wasn't on school grounds. It was at the bus stop. Here I am, decades later, and it's getting a little bit worse because I'm getting older. I'm having a problem with that mid-range. So if I'm ever communicating with anybody, I'm going to always say, hey, let's do it by text, because I just can't catch every word that's being said. I believe in ghosts. Who knew? A horror writer that might believe in something. No, I don't believe in werewolves and vampires and stuff like that. If I wasn't a pagan, I would probably be an atheist. I tend to be fairly logical, and, you know, I tend to overthink things, and I believe science and things like that are pretty much the answers for everything. Everything has an explanation. But I will say that I have had too many experiences with ghosts and other kind of what you would designate as paranormal things throughout my life. There is a reason I'm interested in horror. There's a reason why I dig that kind of thing. Since I was young, I have always been able to connect and have experiences. Now, as an adult, I tried to talk myself out of it. Like, oh, this happened, but it was my childhood imagination, this, that, and the other. Until one day, that completely changed my point of view. And when I start to doubt what I've seen or experienced, I always go back to this one story. So many years ago, I would say about 15 years ago, I was going to visit a family of people I had met before, but we were kind of discussing some things, and I had my friend with me, and they've kind of known each other, and we were heading to this thing just to get to know these people and to make plans for future events and that kind of thing. And my friend and I were driving to their house, and it was out in the middle of nowhere, as a lot of places are in Alabama. You know, it's just farmland. It wasn't like, you know, Sand Mountain or anything like that. It was just farmland, lots of farmland. So we pulled up, and I saw, you know, they had like a little wheat field in their backyard, and I saw a dog jumping up and down, you know, just chasing birds, having a good time. I was watching the birds fly off and everything like that, and I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. Oh, it's a golden retriever. Yay, I love puppies. Yay. And didn't think much of it. And we went up on the porch, and this dog ran up to the porch, and I reached down to pet the dog, and then the dog wasn't there anymore. It was a happy dog. It was panting. It was having a good time, and it was just greeting us. And I went down to pet the dog, and poof, suddenly I realized that that dog wasn't really there. It was like in the moment, it seemed like the realest thing. It seemed like a real dog coming up to the porch. And I reached down to pet it, and then my brain was like, whoa, that dog's not really there. And of course, the dog was not there anymore as soon as I made that realization that it was not actually there. Like my mind was like, wait a second, something's not adding up. And I walked in, and like out of a cheesy cliche movie, I walked in, and there was that fucking picture of that fucking dog who had passed 6 years earlier. And I felt like I was in the cheesiest little movie ever. But no matter how cheesy it sounded, and it was their dog that passed, and we talked about it a little bit because, you know, they're like, oh yeah, the birds, and sometimes we swear we see them. And that memory is the memory that I always go back to as my belief in ghosts. And I know it's such a silly thing, but that dog helped me keep my faith in that kind of thing, that things can be a little bit stranger than we would like to admit. Now, I've had other ghost experiences. I've done ghost hunting and things like that, and you know, I've had close encounters and things like that, and things that have touched me, scratched me, growled at me, that kind of thing. But you know, as time goes on, you can kind of dismiss it as, oh, well, it was my imagination, or maybe they were fucking with me, or you know, that kind of thing. And I can show you a picture from one of that from a cemetery that a lot of shady shit goes down. Let me see if I can find that picture. And cue the picture. You know, orbs, things like that. I have had a knack to be able to find that kind of thing. But when push comes to shove, it was me almost petting a dog that wasn't there that has made me believe in ghosts. I was once a burning Baptist. I say burning Baptist, but it's Southern Baptist. I was raised in a Southern Baptist church. I was very religious. I have read the Bible front to back at least 4 times, if not more. And I mean all of it, like his son begot this son, he's got this son, this son, this son. I was uber religious. And but the thing is my talents and my interests and my experiences did not mesh well with church. And I ended up kind of getting kicked out of churches because I'm the type of person that always asks questions. But I was looking for something, and even from the burning Baptist, I looked into many other faiths, and my mom was more than willing to walk with me through that journey into learning more and more about faiths. Shout out to my mom for being awesome like that. And, you know, I went through all the denominations that were around at the time, even Mormonism. Mormonism? Is that a word? Even Mormonism. And then I looked into Judaism. And frankly, monogamy. Oops, Freud would be so proud. Monotheism just didn't suit me. And it didn't really make sense. There was a lot of logic problems in that particular faith for me personally. So I went from, but before I went pagan, before I found this path and became a daughter of Hecate, I even thought about being a nun. I was looking into studying for it. I was looking into making that commitment to the Catholic Church. I was cleaning with my mom, with, cleaning houses and things like that for my mom. And we were actually cleaning a convent. And being around those spiritual people and the nuns and things like that, I thought maybe this is the spiritual path for me. And they were wonderful ladies. I never had a problem with them. They are dark and twisted, and they're real people. But I thought, oh, that could be the path for me. But the more I looked into it, the more I read the Bible and I read other religious texts from different paths, none of it really seemed to fit me, so I became a pagan. And if I wasn't pagan, I would probably be atheist. But like I've said, I've seen too many things to be an atheist, and I'm too focused to be an agnostic. Those are 5 things you might find interesting about me. If you have any good ideas about a vlog you want to see from someone like me, put in the comments below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and that bell. I make videos every other Monday. My book, The Lesser Devil, is available on Amazon in print, Kindle, and hopefully soon audiobook. Till next time, may the night protect you as you protect the night. Ooh, a doggy.